defined as the state of being a father. Now, given my current predicament dating-wise, it doesn't seem like this is coming anytime soon for me. But who knows? I could meet the love of my life tomorrow for all I know. But when it does happen, and my wife does give birth to my 2 to 3 Division I athletes, potentially pro, there's one thing that I don't know how I'm going to tackle yet, and that's dating. Because I don't want them to make the same mistakes I did. Obviously, mistakes are needed in order to learn and in order to grow. But sometimes it's better to avoid that mistake altogether. And a rough draft of what I was thinking is my son and or daughter, they could date whoever they want to date in the future. But just as insurance, in case their partner does them dirty, I'm going to have them sign a contract coming into the relationship with my offspring, saying if they double cross, cheat, manipulate, toxic, any of those relationship buzzwords, if they do any of that to them, they're legally obligated to see me in the octagon 5 rounds. And if my child is the one that did them wrong, I'll give them a pass and they only have to go in there with me for 3. Even if my child was in the wrong, because my child probably wouldn't have been in the wrong in the first place if you didn't get them to that point. Are you seeing what I'm saying here? But today, I think I wanted to talk about certain characters in fiction that under no circumstance would I allow my child to date. Doesn't matter if they're in middle school, high school, full-grown adult. No shot am I allowing these characters within the vicinity of specifically today my daughter. And I just want to give a disclaimer before people start grabbing their pitchforks and torches. I'm only going to be talking about dudes in this video, but that is not to say if I actually had a daughter and or son, they can't love whoever they want to love. That's not what I'm trying to say here. I'm just basing this off of how I move. I just felt like I had to put that out there because people are sensitive nowadays, but let's carry on. And the first guy that I wouldn't let dare step under my roof in a romantic way with my daughter is Megumi Fushiguro. And there's a bit with him so much so that I had to take notes. I usually don't take notes. I kind of just speak from the heart, but I really wanted to get these bullet points down. And my first bullet point is the obvious, the Divine General Maharaga. And you see, Megumi as a person, as an individual, yes, he might be a fraud, scrub, whatever. I think from what he's presented, he's a solid guy. Like if I saw him on the street, I'd probably dap him up, maybe even hoop with him. I could see myself being cool with him, but when it comes to romantically getting involved with my daughter, no go. Because I could already see a scenario now. He's married with my daughter, they get into an argument about nothing even crazy, maybe what they're having for dinner tonight. My daughter wants Chinese food, Megumi doesn't, but now just because they don't see eye to eye, now he wants violence. Boom, with this treasure I summon, no hesitation, no nothing. 12-foot Shikigami in my daughter's living room. Fist cocked back, ready to send her packing. I don't need that stress in my life. And it doesn't even just apply to a one-on-one situation between them having an argument. Say I'm generous enough to invite him over to dinner. That's something I do. I'm a family man. I love this. I would have my wife, kids, bring the boyfriends, bring the girlfriends. We have a great night, watch sports. Say now I'm the one that gets into a verbal scuffle with him. Or not even that. Say we're watching basketball, it's my favorite team versus his team loses. I already know that is not going home without spilling some blood. And here it is again, but 12-foot Shikigami busting through the roof, getting ready to ruin everything I've ever worked for. Like it's not even worth it, it's not worth the risk. And it's like I'd also want my daughter dating someone who career-wise is driven and who could fend for themselves. And the Divine General is really one of the main reasons Megumi is even still employed as a Jujutsu sorcerer. Think about it, take that away from him, give him 9 shadows. Like without Big Raga, Meg might as well rev up those friars. Does he have a plan B? Does he have money saved? What are his investments looking like? I know he's not thinking this far ahead. Like I need my daughter to find herself a man who could take her out to Nobu, no reservation needed. Walk up in that bitch, skip the wait time by bribing the host, while also giving my daughter like a Rolex or 2 for dessert. I feel like I'm not asking for much, but seeing how Megumi moves, I don't think he's that guy. He's just a ticking time bomb waiting to go off, and that's why I would not allow my daughter to date potential man. Next, Sun Jinwoo. This is gonna come from me. I don't really got much to say in regards to him other than the fact that I know he's cheating on my daughter week 1. I could have the baddest daughter in town, and that doesn't sound right. So I'm gonna interject from the future. This is me currently editing. I'm just trying to say, based off of my sweet but sometimes salty caramel skin mixed with both my melanated and Caucasian attributes, put all that in a blender with whatever my stallion of a wife is bringing to the table. I'm just trying to say that I feel like we would make some pretty epic specimens. That's all I'm trying to say. That's what I meant by that. And for the context of what's going on, I feel like that was the correct terminology to use. I'm not the one that thinks she's bad though. Just to make it clear, let's carry on. I'm saying I could have the baddest daughter in town, and seeing how Sung moves, he'd still find a way to cheat on her. Because the only thing he's loyal to is the grind. Clearly, we see it in the show. He knows exactly what he's doing with Cha-Cha and Juhi. It is very manipulative because he's not committing to either one of them, but he knows the game he's playing. And I wouldn't want my daughter to get sucked into that love triangle because that would only hurt her. He knows how tough he is. He knows how cool he is. I'll give it to him. If I had those abilities and I could play ball in the same way he does, I'm not going to sit here and act like I wouldn't move the same way. You know, but again, going back to it, not under my roof. They'd be dating. I'd invite him on the family trip to the Grand Canyon. We're sitting here taking pictures. I look out in the distance. His ass would probably be sitting there on the highest peak for no reason. Trying to look cool for who? How'd you even get over there? And it's like me as the dad seeing that. Obviously, I'm the head of the pack here. I can't let my daughter's random ass, cool ass boyfriend outswag me right now. So I'd probably try to do something to one up him and then put my life in danger. And then there I go rolling down the side of the cliff trying to, like similar to Megami, there's just so much risk with dating a guy like this. Not only for my hypothetical daughter and her emotional stability, but for me as a dad as well. I just wouldn't be able to handle it. So Sung, stay your swaggy ass away from my daughter. Let's cue up the next one. Alfredo Linguini from the movie Ratatouille. And now the reasoning for this is simple, really. I wouldn't want my daughter dating someone who's closely affiliated with a rat, because now I just have to automatically assume he's a snitch. Like, my daughter needs to be dating someone who, if I'm going down, you're going down with me. You're part of the family. If I commit a felony, we committed that felony. If I'm spinning the block on an op and I'm going through the front, I expect you to be waiting for them trying to escape from the back, so we have them sandwiched. And then after that, we keep it under wraps, tell nobody. And Alfredo doesn't seem like the type of man to go about life that way, considering his ties with the rodent. The only potential way I'd let them embark on a relationship together is if I would be able to not cheat on my wife, but establish a close relationship with his ex, because assuming he's dating my daughter, it would be his ex, Colette. Because I remember seeing her for the first time. Quand j'étais jeune, je savais déjà que même à l'âge adulte, elle serait trop difficile à gérer pour moi. Mon Dieu. Mon Dieu. I'm not even French. I just saw a picture of Colette again and it had me speaking like her. Disney went nuclear with her. Oh my goodness. But those are my stipulations. If he even wants to consider dating my daughter. If I don't get into contact with Colette, no go. Next up, I got Knuckles. Short and sweet. I feel like one day he's just gonna let his fist fly, whether it be on my daughter, me. I wouldn't want it. Again, not worth risking it. Just wanted to get past him. Next, I got Lelouch. You see, with him, similarly to Sung, off the bat, I already have a tingling sensation in my gooch that he would be unloyal. And that just on an intellectual level, he would probably be so far past my whole household combined when it comes to IQ. I think it would be unwise for me to support and promote that relationship. That's not to say I wouldn't want my daughter to date and build a family with a Harvard graduate. That's not what I'm saying. But there's levels to this. And obviously Lelouch's intellect is otherworldly, and I just feel like not only my daughter, but my whole active bloodline would be getting taken advantage of in some way, shape, or form without us even knowing. This is minus the Gios, by the way. I'm not even there yet. But say he does get the Gios involved, and I'm sitting here supporting this relationship. One day we could all be sharing a Red Baron pizza made by yours truly. He pops that shit standing up in the middle of the room looking at all of us and says some shit like, "Girl, I don't want you tonight. I want to crack your mama." And have your ass dad watch in the corner like a good boy. What can I do there? Without even a second thought, I'm going to get the chair and setting up candles and essential oil atomizers in the room for him and my wife to go crazy in. And I don't recall if you even remember what happens after you get Gios, but at the end he could be like, "Y'all just forget about it." I wake up in the morning like everything's normal. I go to give my wife a kiss, and then there's Lelouch on her. And that's just one example. I feel like most guys would agree with me on this one. And there would just be so many things he could do with that. Man could say he wants to live here now. I sign away the deed to my home. Give him the keys, that's it. It's just so easy for me to be put in a predicament where I'm the loser. Like, there's so many manipulative routes he could go. It's just not worth it. I wouldn't allow it to happen. And speaking of manipulators, I and Akoji as well, not dating him. Because if we're talking about manipulation, this does what the Gios does without the Gios. Would probably somehow manipulate me to divorce my hot, sexy, bodacious wife. Shouts out to her if she's watching. Don't know who she is yet, but I said so. But he could probably somehow manipulate me to do that and then take my daughter across the world, get her involved in some sort of pyramid scheme. It's just no, not happening with him either. Let's move on to the guy who probably somehow manipulated me into making this video. Why on my right mind would I even let him on the same planet as my daughter? Firstly, he's a master of disguise. I would get introduced to him thinking he's a studious young man with dreams and aspirations of studying biomedical science or something. Daughter's dating him all throughout college. 4, 5, 6 years. We're getting close to marriage. I love this nigga. One day I get a call from my daughter sobbing, Dad, Eisen's died in a freak accident." So I'm tweaking out because this is basically my son at this point. Hold a funeral for the man and everything. One day I open my door randomly, nigga standing there holding my daughter unconscious, saying he's gonna kidnap her. throws his glasses on the floor. I take a closer look and see that they're Amazon basics, so he never even needed these in the first place. Quicker than I can even react, he puts his hand in my mouth to gather some saliva to slick his hair back and give me this look, so now I'm feeling violated. And it's like, as a father, I would have to stand my ground, and I would know that I'm severely outmatched here. But if he pulled this play of the game ass highlight intro in front of me and expected me not to get violent, he's an idiot. But that's the thing, that's exactly what he expected, because he's known what moves I was making from before he even met my daughter, and that's the issue. Like, this is some shit we'd find out at the end of the series he's been planning since his childhood. He's been moving pieces since then, just to make my princess his queen. Can't let that happen. So obviously I start wailing. I'm like 7 punches deep. I blink and then it turns out I wasn't even hitting him in the first place, but I was clobbering my wife. So now I'm sobbing, I don't know what to do. So then I slam down on my table with both hands in frustration. Whoop-de-doo, to no one's surprise, that table was actually the stomach of an elderly woman. So I'm all sorts of f***ed up at this point. Like, it would be an endless cycle of despair with that he's been plotting from the beginning. And speaking of plotting from the beginning, another man who needs to stay far away is Lelouch. Because if my daughter brings him home and somehow the conversation steers in the direction of him saying, yeah, I've been waiting to get with your daughter since the day she was born. After that, there may be an 8th sin, because I don't even know what I would do with that freaked out fool. And it's like, given the context of the show, in his heartbreak, I don't condone the way he approached the Elizabeth situation, but given the context of the show, I understand why it may have unraveled that way. But either way, that man needs to be sent to the deepest level of whatever prison they got in the demon realm, because he might just be the worst of the worst. Next guy, Tengen. I wouldn't dare let her get involved in that debauchery that he has going on with his 3 wives. I respect his hustle and I respect his game. He's hard, I appreciate it, and if there's an agreement amongst him and his 3 wives to do what they gotta do, that's cool. My daughter's not gonna be the 4th though. I don't care if she's a full-grown adult, I'm not letting her do it. Next up, we have Aomine from Kuroko's. I think this one's probably the most obvious out of everyone that I've named so far. I can't have my daughter dating someone who's better at hooping than me. It might be an ego thing, but I already have plans about how I'm gonna go about this in the future whenever I move to my neighborhood with my family. 6,000 square foot house, 5 bedrooms, couple acres of land. I'm gonna build the court, and I'm gonna be known as like the basketball guy in the neighborhood. Not only the basketball guy, but the best. Even at 40, 50 years old, I already have the plan. And don't get it twisted. If she starts dating like a Division I athlete who's league bound, I want that. I want that for her. We already know how Aomine is with the sport though. That's unearthly witchcraft. Just his presence on my homegrown basketball court alone would probably put some sort of curse on my house and have this shit looking like how when Henry Creel got his powers. But not only that, if I say, daughter, I want to meet your boyfriend, invite him for dinner, we go to dinner, he sees the hoop and he's like, oh, let's go one-on-one. If he embarrasses me in the way that I see him embarrassing folk in the show on my home court, I hope he told his parents, siblings, whoever he's got, that he loved them before coming here, because that was the last time. And I'd have to give my daughter some blame too, because not only is he embarrassing me, but she is as well. At this point, she would have known how seriously I take this shit and probably thought bringing him over to the house to embarrass me would have been some sort of prank, some sort of joke, and I would have taken it lightly. On the contrary, I'm actually feeling very heavy, and I'd probably unload that weight onto his face with my fist, just as an appetizer. And thinking about now, I'm not thinking long term with it. I'm really thinking short term, because realistically, if she were to date him, they go the whole 9 yards. They may come together and give birth to a being so gifted at basketball, where they probably start looking at my bloodline like the damn Gojo clan, where it's like for all the future generations to come, those kids may be born with Aomine's formless fuckery, but maybe not his ability to go into the zone, you know, similar to the 6 Eyes and Limitless. So maybe that's a good thing. And it's like, would me as a father be willing to make that sacrifice and make my own life harder and put my ego to the side and embarrass myself in front of all my neighbors just to help sponsor a potential bloodline of basketball greatness for eons to come? I don't know. I really don't know, and it's something I have to sleep on. If I end up doing a video of characters who I would want my daughter to date, and you see Aomine in there, just know I changed my mind. Next up, I got Mike from the FNAF movies. It's as simple as, I'd see as a father that he fumbled Vanessa. I wouldn't even want my daughter wasting her time with him, because there's clearly something wrong with that. Like, if we lived in the same universe, he better not let me hear through the grapevine that he fumbled her. It would get ugly. And not even that, I'd even take into consideration the fact that if my daughter were to get involved with him, one day I'd be chilling at home, turn on the news, and I'm gonna see that it's my daughter on there who got her head bit clean off by a Chuck E. Cheese animatronic. But since we're just on the topic of Vanessa, aka Elizabeth Leal, who, by the way, if you're watching this, business email is in the bio, and we could talk business over there. Lizzie, if you're watching, anyone closely affiliated, please put me in contact with her. I just want one date and a kiss on the cheek. That's it. But no, since we're on the topic of her, let's get to our next felon, Joe Goldberg. And I was about to say that maybe we as the audience can see that he's got many screws loose. But if you take away his internal monologue and you just see the way he stares at folks in his own show, I would know as a father immediately that this guy's bad news.
Well?
And it's like looking at this from the audience perspective now, not from the perspective of if I was the father, obviously I don't know his track record and his history of crime. Looking at this from my perspective right now, why on God's green earth would I want a man who had Guinevere Beck love Quinn? I forgot her name, but I think she was Jenna Ortega's bigger sister. His dating history was comparable to that of the Golden State Warriors with Kevin Durant. And substitute the killing with a more PG approach. Like he just didn't want to be with them anymore. As a father, and I said, I don't care if she's an adult. As a father, I'm going to let you date a guy who got bored of Delilah, Marianne, Love, Guinevere herself. Fuck you, you're off my phone plan. I'm not doing this. I triple dog dare you to try and introduce him to me. And I said that's taking away the killing. Without even getting into the nitty gritty, let's keep it surface level. Why would I want to put her life in danger like that? Let's carry on. Next, I got Saitama. Not dating anyone bald. I'm sorry. Shout out to my bald brothers. And that was a joke. I'm gonna be honest. I don't even know why I said that. And dare I say I'd be quite jubilant if she dated a bald brother. Just putting it out there. But I think because of that outrageous comment, I'm gonna end it here. So let me know how you guys liked this somewhat experimental type of video. And if you want a part 2 to it, because I got many more folks I could add to the list. Or if you want a characters I wouldn't let my son date, or characters I would let my daughter date, or any other fun ideas. I'm also playing Detroit Become Human on the second channel. So y'all who are not subbed over there, I would appreciate it if you check that out, because I'm really trying to get that page to 10K hopefully this year. And sub to this one, road to 200K as well. Without further ado, on to the next one. And yeah, that's it.